What's going on, party people? Some of you may remember this book, Patience and Ritual. See all of these? That's what I think of that book. So you're probably wondering, why the hell would you do that, Dave? Why would you just throw those books away? Good question. And here's the truth. I didn't. I actually pulled them back out of the trash can. I'm not really going to throw them away. In fact, I'm going to give them away. If you're not familiar with this, what happened was last year I did the 100-day challenge where I drew illustrations 100 days in a row. That book right there was the first edition of what was going to be a 3-volume set. I never finished volumes 2 and 3. Don't ask me why, it's not important. What is important though is this. This laptop has on it files for the entire series of that particular 100-day stretch. I am going to finally be doing that book, but as one particular volume. 100 pictures with text and stuff, all in one book. So why did I finally decide to do the book now? Another good question. It comes down to 2 main factors. Number 1, I want to do the 100-day challenge again this next year. It's coming up pretty quick. April is when it usually starts, and that's only a couple of months away, and so I would kind of like to have this old project out of the way before I go and start the new project. I want to make sure I have plenty of headspace and room space to be able to do the new one so that I can again turn that into a whole book unto itself. Because I think like this is going to be a thing. I said that last year, I didn't push forward on it, but it's gonna be a thing. The second factor is that I mentioned in the last episode of the podcast that I am going to put prioritization on past projects that have not been finished. This book is right there at the very top of the list. The first version, which you saw earlier, it didn't sell very well. In fact, it hasn't sold very well at all. It was a little discouraging. Why would I want to jump in and do the whole book? Because it needs to be done. If I get it done, I'm gonna get it off my chest, I'm gonna get it off my plate, I'm gonna get it off all these other metaphors for things that are done. It's gonna be out of the way. Number 2, maybe, just maybe, the reason it didn't do well at all was because it wasn't a complete project. If I put out a complete project, more people will be interested. Third most important factor, if I'm being completely honest with myself, I didn't push it hard. I didn't push it hard enough, and so it didn't sell. It didn't sell because I didn't do the work. So I'm calling myself on the mat for that. So because I am so fond of bullet points and numbered bullet points, let's go ahead and make a list. On my project to-do list, I have at least a half a dozen things that I know I want to get to really quickly. The first thing on that list is definitely the book. It is currently January 25th, and I would like to have the entire book at least finished with the layout by the end of January. Now, that may seem like a really short timeline, but as we've already seen, I have the layout already kind of handled. I just need to add the extra images and then some other stuff. I have a lot of work to do, but it's easily accomplished. The second most important thing, and probably equally important to the book, is I would like to get the remainder of the 100-day images, the ones that I have left that I haven't given away or sold already, I would like to put them up for sale on my site. Third on my list is more products. To be fair, I've been a little bit wishy-washy on the whole product thing because sometimes I want to do it and sometimes I don't. And sometimes I post them and sometimes I completely take them off all of my sites because gah! And I'm swearing to myself and to everybody here listening that I am going to make these things a priority. I am going to make them a major function of what I do. I think that it's important for me to understand that some people like what I do, but they're not necessarily going to want to invest in a $3,000 or $4,000 painting. Not all of my art is $3,000 or $4,000. You can buy stuff for a lot cheaper than that. Speaking of art, number 4 would be more art up on my website. I've mentioned it before, I don't put my stuff up on my website often enough. I finish it and then it just kind of sits on the shelf. I'm gonna try and do better about that. No, I am going to be better about that. Side note is that I also put it up on sachiart.com because why not? A little bit more exposure, but I don't put enough up there either, so I've got to do my due diligence. Semi-related, number 5, I need to make more art. When I look back at how much art that I made in 2017, I thought that I made a lot more than I actually did. What I ended up seeing was that I made a lot of stuff that went into a sketchbook or stuff that went onto Instagram, but not something that I actually made available to sell or actually physically made. And so 2018 is going to be a whole lot better. In fact, the 100-day challenge that I'm going to be doing next is going to be a lot more fine art centered, less illustration centered as the last series. And finally, for at least the first half of 2018, number 6, I need to get the new 100-day project done. It starts in April, usually finishes in July if you do it on the right timeline. That's gonna take up a good portion of my time and energy. So yeah, I got stuff to do. I would like to get number 1 through 5 on that list done before that 100-day challenge starts. If I don't get it done by that time, or at least I don't get a majority of it done by that time, I'm gonna have myself neck deep in things to do. I'm gonna be filming videos, I'm gonna be making podcasts, I'm gonna be talking to people to be on the show. That's something that's gonna be new. I've got a lot, and I would like to have as much off the plate so that I can be clear-headed, clear mind, and focus 100% on that very big, massive project that I hope will be extremely lucrative and everybody will love and everybody will want to buy. So yeah, that's it. Time for me to put this stuff away and focus on this. Also, thank you, Chantel, for this sticker too.